Many of us, many African immigrants, we are active contributors in the societies, right? We're part of, the economic workforce. We are professionals. We are in, we are everywhere. We're involved. We're involved in churches. We're part of working and building and volunteering. But we are highly and highly underrepresented in policy discussions, right? Especially when you compare it to other immigrant groups, we are highly underrepresented. Now, Atlanta is doing well, better than most states, in terms of we have a couple of representatives who are, of African descent, and maybe some office holders here and there, but still very, it's still very sparse. But at least there's some representation here in Atlanta. But it's not the same across the country, and that's crazy if you think about it, because of how much we contribute to the economy, how much we contribute to the success, how much involved we are, our sheer numbers, right? And so we are this big contributing group, but highly underrepresented when it comes to decision making, when it comes to policy, right? Policy discussions, things that affect immigration, for example. Our voices are not necessarily being heard in those conversations, right? Policies around education. A lot of us come here to go to school. Education is a key part of the immigrant experience, right? One of the reasons why many people have moved from their home countries to these places for the educational component for their kids, the opportunities to go to better schools and be exposed to better opportunity. But yet we're not necessarily part of the conversations that define or chart the course for advancement in the educational systems here, even though we're active in paying taxes and building the systems. How much of our voices in policy around business, community welfare, all of those things. We're present, but we're not heard, right? We're present, but we're not heard. Our voices are not loud enough. They're not represented enough. And I saw this quote as I prepared for this session, and it says, "When you are not at the table, you're often on the menu." Right? So if you're not at the table as somebody who is part of the feast or the feasters, you are probably on the menu being feasted upon. And so it's time to leave the the menu and gets to being part of the table where the conversations and decisions are being made. Right? Representation goes beyond politics. It's about participation. It's about civic participation. It's about leadership. Right? It's not just about the politics, and a lot of us don't want to meddle in the politics because, again, of where a lot of us come from and the political ecosystem back in Africa. Most African countries is a mess, and most decent people do not want to dabble into politics, right? From me coming from Nigeria, and most African countries have chaotic political ecosystems, if I'm going to say that kindly. And you see a lot of people abstain. They don't want to get involved because the perception is it's messy, it's crazy, it's violent, it's all of the things that many people who are decent people don't want to associate with. But then we carry that mindset, and then we come to a system like the one we're in, and now we think, hey, I still want to abstain from it because of what it looks like. But that is one of the beautiful things about, one of the things that makes this space, this country great, is our voices matter. Right, our voices matter. We can actually be part of affecting the system if we can organize, if we can, if we can ensure representation, then we can actually make a difference. That's the beautiful thing about this country, and that's why a lot of us came to this place. That's why we chose this place as a place to call home. And so I want to really emphasize that your voice, our voice matters. Right, it is super important. It is super important. It affects everything. Again, I talked about the schooling, education, immigration, business policy, all of these things. These are decisions, these are policy decisions that if we don't contribute to, they still affect us. They still impact us. They still impact our our ability to function, our ability to earn a living, our ability to live and explore and really live out the American dream that we came here to pursue. Right? And so it's important that we are not just on the menu, we are on the table, right? It's important. Our voices matter.